Hello everyone, myself Vivek Kumar, Professor at CRDT IIT Delhi and co-PI Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. I will be discussing about the framework of action plan for participating institution, funding and convergence possibilities and role of subject expert groups in UBA. So, framework of action plan for participating institution. The objective of this presentation is to suggest steps, guidelines to the PIs, that is participating institutions, for formulating plan of action for village development. So, our strategy is having 7 steps. The first thing is selection of village, which most of you have already done, but I hope that there are some new institutions also there. So, first we will talk about the selection of village. Then how to create awareness and how to involve stakeholders, local stakeholders like villagers in the program, how to involve more and more students at your institute, faculty members at your institutes, how to do the planning, because UBA is all about participatory approach. So, we have to be very careful while doing the planning. Then project formulations, implementation of the project and how to carry out the monitoring and assessment of the project or activities which we have implemented, and then finally the evaluation. So, the first step is selection of the village. So, there are some possibilities, like you can choose the villages which are close to your institute, or you can choose you can select the villages which are having some linkage with your institute, some prior linkage with your institute, or depending on the backwardness of the village. Many times these criteria are not in coherence, sometimes they contradict each other, but depending on your own situation. So, suppose a village is backward and you would like to adopt that village, but the village is slightly far from your institute, then there will be some practical problems. So, you have to take a call and you have to take decision on that. Then the next step is establishing contact, awareness and participation. Now, you have to work with the villages, and many such projects actually are being implemented in the villages, and sometimes villagers are not very receptive because of multiplicity of the project, and many times they feel that nothing is going on, and every time project people are coming and they talk to them, they promise them lot of things and they go away. So, many times they are not very receptive in the beginning, but our experience says that villagers are very friendly if we make a good rapport with them. So, the first exercise is establishing contact with them. So, we should establish contact through some officials, like we can meet panchayat secretaries, we can talk to Gram Pradhan, we can discuss about this UBA program with Rural Engineering Services JE or BDPO or Village Development Officer. There are some some more people there in the official lineage. For example, there are volunteers working for Manrega. So, we can discuss about the UBA program, about the objective of the program and village situation with these people. Then we should meet some elderly people in the village. We can discuss, or for example, our team will be consisting of students. So, our students can meet with the youth groups, youth clubs are there in the villages, so they can have good rapport with them. Girl student, they can talk to women groups. If there are some SEG available, then they can directly talk to the SEG. Otherwise also they can go to the houses and they can talk to the elderly people. So, initial process of this is establishing contact. So, in the beginning we should not talk about anything else, but to establish contact. We can always say that our students are here to learn, what are the challenges, what are the issues, what is the traditional knowledge. So, our students are here for learning purpose. So, be careful that in the beginning you should not tell the people, or you should not tell to the villagers that we have come here for giving you something, because that will then their aspiration will go high and they will expect so many things from you. So, that should not be done. Then as I said in the beginning that this whole program, the objective of the UBA is to get the participation from the villagers, from the stakeholders at every level, from the planning to the implementation. So then we should conduct PRA, that is participatory rural appraisal. Of course, we also have one rapport building activity in terms of survey, but then identification of problem, identification of solutions, all this should be done through PRA and after analyzing the report which we will be generating through survey. But in the beginning, one of the most critical rapport building activity can be identifying one problem and provide immediate solution. It can be anything. For example, it can be a small health camp, or it can be some awareness program in the beginning, or it can be some program related to sanitation. So, but you have to identify some problem, immediate solution need to be provided. Then we extend this awareness and participation at institute level. So, more and more faculty members should be involved. We should involve NSS and more student volunteers. In colleges, we have different students club, student counseling services, they coordinate different student activities through different student club. So, for example, there can be film society, there can be dramatics club, fine arts club. We should involve these people, these students in UBA program. One of the important component of UBA can be the field agencies or the NGOs which are already working in that area. So, we need to talk to them, we need to involve them in our program, and these field agencies and NGOs, they can be very helpful in building rapport with the villagers. We also should try to make a network with the institutes which are in our neighborhood. Our RCIs, regional coordinating institution, can help in this regard. Then as I said that the first important, or in fact for any project, the foremost important thing is the planning. So, in our case planning is more important because we are talking about participatory approach, right. So, as I mentioned that PRA is one of the important tool, PRA or PLA or any other tool which you feel is appropriate, but which ensures that there is a public participation in the whole process, that should be used. All of you know that our first activity under UBA is village level survey and household level survey. Of course, we have a lot of data available through SEC 2011, then there are some NSSO data available, but all these secondary data are, they are useful to us, but our primary aim to do the survey is to get a feel of the village. If our students are going to the village, if they do the survey, then they get the feeling of the village, they get to talk to the people, talk to the villagers, and then they build the rapport. So, this survey is doing fulfilling multifold objectives. So, one is to get the baseline data, another is to build the rapport, and third is that student, when they roam around the village, they understand about the many of our students, they come from the urban background, they really do not understand the the culture, the society of the village, even they do not understand the physical infrastructure of the village. So, when they roam around the village, they understand all these things. So, this is one of the important thing. Then we can conduct some transit walks, PRA techniques you can go through. We will be probably preparing one separate module on PRA. Then our contact point should be Gram Sabha, because all our decision, whatever we are discussing, they should be ratified through Gram Sabha, and we know that as per the 14th Finance Commission, every village need to prepare one VDP or village development plan, which needs to be approved by Gram Sabha, and every village get some funding on the basis of this VDP or GPDP. So, our contact point should be the Gram Sabha. There we get representation from all community, from all castes, from all genders. Then of course, once we discuss once we do the situation analysis based on survey, based on PRA, then we identify the need, we do the prioritization exercise. So, let us say for example, in a village we have identified 10 needs, then we prioritize them and then we say that okay, we will start with the need number 1, or what we can do is that based on those needs we can prepare comprehensive development plan. It all depends on the capacity of the institute. So, this is how we do situation analysis. It is based on baseline survey and PR exercise, and as I said that we will be doing the priority analysis. So, everything has to come from people. So, this is one of the basic principle of PRA, that is participatory rural appraisal, that everything is coming from the people's side. So, it is all people's perspective, whether it is social map, whether it is resource map, it all has to come from, and of course, solutions also we will talk about local solutions. So, solutions also should come from the local people, and then selection of the intervention. Okay. So, this is one example what we actually get from the baseline survey. So, baseline survey now it is available on app also. So, your students can do it offline and then they whenever they get the connectivity they can sync it. So, our module ERP module helps in preparation of a report, and some of the example, for example, we get the demographic profile from the report, we get details of the basic amenities, we get land and agriculture resources, for example, what is the land use pattern, what are the irrigation facilities, what is the status of forest and horticulture, how much chemical fertilizer are being used, livestock data. So, all this basic information you can get from the baseline survey. Of course, as I said earlier that there is some secondary data available in the domain. So, you can use that data also, but this baseline survey is very, very important for other things like building rapport with the villagers, right. Okay. So, then the next step is project formulation. So, you identify the need, now your intervention is required. So, based on that need you will be formulating a project. So, for implementing the project you will be identifying the technology, and so you can propose 4 or 5 solutions, then you can discuss with the villagers and finally select one solution. You can either you are sure about the solution or you can get it validated through experts, and those experts are available through our SEG, that is subject expert groups. Then you do some cost estimation, like we prepare all project report, and then if there are some government schemes available. So, on funding I will be discussing separately, but if so one of the step can be like if there are, because we know that there are more than 200 rural development schemes in every state. So, you match if any scheme is available for the project or the solution which you have proposed, and then you should discuss it with the district agencies, because depending on the nature of the project. So, many times the projects are such that you cannot implement them without the help of district agencies. So, you should have discussion with them. Then funding and convergence, we will see what are the possibilities of funding, getting funding, and how we can converge with other schemes or other departments, and then implementation of the solution. So, one of the objective of baseline survey is to get some baseline data, so that we can set up some measurable targets. So, for all our projects, for all our interventions, monitoring, assessment and evaluation is very, very critical and very, very important, because then only we will be knowing that whether our intervention is making any change in the life of the people or not. So, we should always set measurable targets for our projects. We should document all the experiences, because it will help in replication. People will so we will be uploading everything on the website, on our portal, and people from other institutions, other villages will be learning from your all experiences. And we should always carry out, see, our interventions are very, very small, they have very small target, 3 to 6 months. One intervention, we are expecting that we will be able to do one intervention in 3 to 6 months. So, periodic assessment of set target is very, very important, because our project period is very, very small. Then of course, after doing 1 or 2 interventions, what is our objective? Our object, so in under Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, we are connected with the villages permanently. I mean, it is not that after implementing 1 project or 2 projects we will be leaving those villages, no. So there is a actually permanent connection. So because in the mission or the vision of the UBA, you must have heard about leveraging of the knowledge. So this knowledge leveraging will continue forever. So after 1 or 2 small interventions, we should look for long term action plan for the village development. So we should plan for holistic and integrated village development. We can intervene or we can help Gram Sabhas, Gram Pradhan in the preparation of GPDPs, VDPs. We can do resource mapping, and based on the resource, based on the skill set available in the villages, based on the infrastructure available on the village in the villages, we can make integrated development plan for the village, where we can emphasize, we should emphasize economic development, infrastructure development and human development. This is the tentative timeline that we expect that awareness and generation will be completed in 2 months. Selection of the cluster, of course, it will be done before being the part of UBA. Social mobilization, baseline survey, we are expecting that you will be, especially village level survey, it should be completed within 2 months. Then based on survey, based on PRA exercise will continue throughout this 2-3 months, and then we will be doing the situation analysis. We should finish it by 4 months, and then we should make an action plan based on our interventions, based on our projects. We should prepare an action plan 3 to 7 months, and then approval and sanctions for the funds, and then implementation in the field. And we should review our progress in between also, but then we should do a comprehensive review after every year. We are having national level monitoring system in Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So Professor Priyanka Kaushal will be discussing more in detail about this ERP portal, but this is a web based system, and every activity we want to document. So every activity to be documented and made available in the public domain. The output under each activity would be measured every quarter in relation to the physical and financial targets. So as I said that once we prepare the projects, we always look for funds. So some of the funding possibilities which I am discussing with you are here. For example, we have possibility of UBA funds, there is a possibility of institutional support, we can get funds from our alumni, there is a society participation, stakeholder contribution, very, very important, very critical for the sustainability of the activity or the project. There is a possibility of CSR fund and special projects. There are different government programs. As I said that in every state there are more than 200 different schemes for different aspects of development. So we can look for those schemes and those programs. Then we also look for convergence. See, UBA is not a program where there is an independence in terms of project or in terms of funding. Means we are proposing convergence with different departments, different ministries or different people, those who are working for the same cause, that is rural development. So we are talking about convergence between institutions, PRIs, that is Panchayati Raj institutions and voluntary organizations, government agencies. We are also looking for convergence with the flagship program of central and state governments. So UBA fund is basically available to you, 10,000, presently it is 10,000 per village for awareness and survey and visits. Then there is a possibility of technology development fund of 1 lakh rupees per technology or per intervention, I can say. Then customization of solution, rupees 50,000 per solution is available, and there are certain future possibilities which we may discuss later on. There is a possibility of institutional support. For example, in IIT Delhi, Director IIT Delhi has agreed to provide student rural internship rural fellowship for student intern, for 50 student intern. So similarly, at several places, NIT Manipur, they have actually invested some let us say rupees 5 to 6 lakhs for commissioning of a water treatment plant for their adopted village. Several such examples are available. These examples are available on our website also. So institutional support is also available for some projects. Then there is a possibility of alumni support. IIT Delhi, for example, IIT Delhi Alumni Association has readily agreed to support many such activities in the villages. One of our village, Pahadi village in district Rewari in Haryana, one of the alumni has actually constructed one state of the art library. He spent almost 20 lakh rupees. So there are many such examples. In IIT Roorkee, in IIT Kharagpur Alumni Association has agreed to adopt all the villages of Kharagpur district. So there is such possibility. So we can explore these possibilities. We can name the activities on these on the name of these alumni. We can pursue them to adopt some villages. Every institution is asking for funds from their alumni. So we can always request. There are many alumni, those who are not ready to give funds to the institution, but they are ready to spend for some social cause. So we can talk to them and we can get funds from them. Then society participation. Locally there are many people available, some industries are available. We can talk to them, we can approach them, and again they can adopt some activity. We can do some activity in their name and they can fund these activities. Stakeholder contribution, as I said, that there should not be anything free, because if everything is free, then ownership, actually there is a problem in ownership. So for these activities we should look for some stakeholder contribution, whether it is in terms of money, whether it is in terms of labor or any other kind. So there has to be some stakeholder contribution. So that brings the ownership of the project. There is a possibility of CSR fund. We have some examples. In IIT Delhi we have funding from for 2 clusters from CSR fund. So our Gandikhata cluster, we have funds from ONGC. Similarly, we have another cluster in Khurrampur. There again we have some CSR funding from IREDA. There are possibilities in terms of grant in aid projects. For example, KVIC can provide some grant in aid projects, MNRE, DST. There is a division called SEED in DST. They give such funds. So we can apply projects for our clusters to DST, DBT or other agencies. So we can get funds from these agencies also. So I think I will skip this. As I said that there are several government schemes and flagship programs. So we should explore. So there is a portal from MORD, it's called Samanvay. We have link available on our web portal. So we can see what are these different schemes and where we fit in, for our activities or the projects in our villages. So we can explore. For example, for biogas plants, we know that MNRE is giving some subsidy, so that we can study. Similarly, there is a fund available under Swachh Bharat mission for solid liquid waste management. So this is one example. So for less than 150 household, 7 lakh rupees are available. So such possibilities are there. We should explore them, and as these possibilities are different for different states, so details you can study through that Samanvay portal. Convergence is again one of the important, very important component of UBA. As I said in the beginning, that our idea is not to start another program which has got different mandate or different funds. In that sense, we are looking for convergence. Convergence from, as we know that there are different different ministries, different departments. They work in for a similar cause also. They are working independently. So there is a need to converge all efforts. So, one of the objective of UBA is to converge these efforts. So, at top level MHRD is trying to have convergence through different ministries like MORD, like Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. At state level MHRD is again trying to get convergence through principal secretaries. At the bottom, at the field level, there should be a convergence with district rural development agencies, our participating institution and Panchayati Raj institution. Now, I mentioned about the funds which is available from UBA, like 1 lakh rupees fund for technology development and a technology intervention and 50,000 rupees for technology customization, and this is done through SEG. Otherwise also I mentioned when I talked about the formulation of the project, then also I talked about that you can take help of, for the validation of the technology you can take help of SEG. So, what is SEG? There is a concept of subject expert group in Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. These SEGs are actually to act as think tank and technical expert resource for UBA program. So, currently we have 11 subject expert groups, which and for each subject expert group there is a coordinating institution. For example, for rural energy IIT Delhi is a subject expert group coordinator. I will discuss that in the next slide. So, first let us talk about the role of SEGs. So, one is to act as think tank, another is to provide guidance on the vision, strategies and tentative roadmap in the subject area. So, for example, somebody wants to work in the area of sanitation, he needs some help, he needs to understand what is the best suitable technology for that particular area. So, he can talk to the SEG experts, he can write to SEG coordinator and SEG coordinator will connect him with the expert which is actually expert in that particular area. So, in every SEG we have number of experts, there is one coordinating institution, but then there is a expert members, they belong to different institution and they belong to different agroclimatic zone, different geographical areas of the country. So, these experts can be very helpful for us. Then the third role of the SEG is to provide technology compendium in their subject expert area. We have a mandate in UBA that every expert group of every subject expert group will prepare a compendium for the whole country. So, for example, liquid waste management group is preparing a compendium which will have the which will talk about the technology pool available in this country. It will also help you in identifying the best technology for your area. We will also try to include the resource person. So, we are actually working on the whole supply chain, so that you know that who are the people, those who can help you for the implementation of the project in that particular area. So, all subject expert groups are actually preparing such compendium. And the fourth objective of this SEG is to evaluate and approve new technical solutions submitted by PIs and other inventors. So, the evaluation of the project proposal which you are submitting for rupees 1 lakh funding or rupees 50,000 funding, that evaluation is actually carried out by these subject expert groups. So, these are the different subject expert groups. We have right now we have 11, but we are thinking to merge all 29 subjects available in the schedule of Panchayati Raj institutions. So, currently we have 11, there is 12th one also with the name others. So, any project which is not qualifying in these under these 11 categories, that can be submitted under others. So, for every SEG we have coordinating institution and the coordinator. So, this list is available at our web portal. So, PIs should take more and more help from these SEGs. So, this is a performa, probably Professor Priyanka Kaushal will be discussing more in detail when she will be talking about web portal. Thank you.